This is my new amp that I just got at a flea market. It's a Magnatone M-199-3-J. Cool little amp. It is a single-ended 16V6 power tube, 5Y3 rectifier, 6SJ7 preamp tube, and one knob with a power switch and volume, two inputs, and a 8-inch speaker. It's a pretty cool little amp. I've already replaced the cord on it. It came with the with like a lamp cord, and the guy I bought it from said, yeah, it works, it sounds great. So when I came home, I couldn't wait to try it, and it shocked me. And so that, you know, I had to replace that. So lesson learned. I was so excited to try it that I gave myself a shock. So I mean, it's not mint condition, but it shows its age. It's probably, I've done some internet searches and there's not a whole lot on this particular model. The ones I found are slightly different. Some have like a angled panel. The artwork on some of them, even though they have the same model, the artwork is a little bit different. I kind of like this. Pretty cool. So also on the front, the grill, this is just like a window screen material, and I've seen some online that have some artwork, and it looks like this might have had that. There's some traces there. And then other models have a diagonal piece right here that this one does not have. It never did. So this is covered in that plastic mother of pearl or mother of toilet seat that they call it. And actually, it's in pretty good condition. I think the actual box is made out of plywood. All right, so I'm gonna open it up and see what's in there. Also, this handle's kind of cool, like a kitchen cabinet kind of handle. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's open it up and see what's inside and how it's built. Okay, so just a couple of screws here, and this pops off. And there you can see that it's just a thin piece of wood covered in this mother of pearl. Here's the edge, and it's also stained in that same kind of tone. And then two screws here, and then this thing's just going to slide out. And I'm not sure if that speaker is original, but that's how it came. So here's a look inside this amp, and one thing that comes to my mind is how different it is from a Fender Champ, which is a similar amp. And here I decided I would show you what a Fender Champ looks like. And we're going to open it up and see how it is built. So here we see the Champ, and we can see that both the Magnatone and the Champ use the 5Y3 rectifier tube, the 6V6. They both have a 8-inch speaker. Here's where the difference starts. The Champ uses a 12AX7 preamp tube, which is actually a triode, or a pair of triodes in there. There's actually two triodes in this one glass case. The Magnatone 5Y3 rectifier, 6V6, but it uses the 6SJ7, which is a pentode, different kind of tube, and it only has one stage of amplification. So your signal goes through this guy, gets amplified, then to the power tube and onto the speaker. Whereas in the Champ, your signal goes in this tube, out through the tone stack, and back here for another amplification, and then into the power tube. Okay, so here we have the Fender Champ, and you notice that there's a board, and all the components are attached to the board and then wired to the pots and to the tubes. And that's going to be different from our Magnatone. By the way, this lip right here slides into a groove that's in the chassis, in the cabinet, and that's how it slides in there, and that's how it sits like that. So I thought that was pretty ingenious, like that. Okay, so now in the Magnatone, there's no circuit board, or there's no board. Everything's attached point to point. Now I got to say that these caps right here are not original, and I didn't do that. That's how I got it. These are filter caps that replace the can type. The can type is this guy right here. So there's actually 3 capacitors in there that do the power filtering duties, and those were replaced with these guys. And probably not the best professional job, but it works. Maybe down the line I'll do something else with those. So you notice, like, this looks just like a bunch of parts thrown in there. And again, the difference between this and the Fender style. Now this amp has a lot more parts because it has a bass and treble control, which accounts for most of these parts that are in this area. If it didn't, you'd have a lot fewer parts. And that's, I think, the charm of this guy right here, is that it's just a volume, and that is it. And if you wonder what it sounds like, it sounds exactly what it looks like. It's kind of grungy. It's got a cool tone, mid-rangey. I'm actually really liking playing through it. So the highlight, or the difference, is this preamp tube, which is different than the Fender. The Fender uses the traditional 12AX7, and I think I have something here that's similar. The Fender uses something similar to this. You see the difference. These are completely different tubes. This is a triode. This is actually 2 triodes in one. So this is like having 2 tubes. And this is a pentode. So your guitar signal goes in here, it gets one stage of amplification, and then straight to the power tube. Whereas in a Fender, or in a Fender Champ, I should say, your guitar goes in here, goes out to the tone stack, and gets tweaked, bass and treble, comes back to the other side of this tube, gets another stage of amplification, and then goes to the 6V6. Slightly different. So there's one more look at the circuit board. Let's zoom in. I know it looks like a mess, and really these guys make it look messier than what it should be, because this can would have taken care of this whole thing right here. One thing about this amp, man, it's super easy to put back together. It's just a couple of screws and that's it. There it is. So, one last look. She's a beauty. Very cool. Gonna try the classic vibe Telecaster refinished with boiled linseed oil and a flame job or a char job. There's the Magnetone, and yes.